on the Texas State Sports Network from Learfield. Welcome to the Eat 'em Up Radio Show with head football coach G.J. Kinne. The Texas State football season is presented by HEB. Here, everything's better. Here are Clint Shields and Brent Freeman.
And welcome to another edition of the Eat 'em Up Radio Show. Brent Freeman alongside Clint Shields. Getting ready to look ahead of the big conference game coming up on the road this Saturday for the Bobcats as they take on the Marshall Thundering Herd. Clint, welcome to the Eat 'em Up Radio Show. How are you on this Margarita Monday?
Doing well, doing well. Good to see everybody. Looking forward to this weekend. A lot of history, certainly behind the Marshall program in Huntington, West Virginia. Looking forward to getting over there and getting a chance to see that place.
Well, we're going to preview the game certainly coming up. We'll also recap the game from this past Saturday against Troy. Our guest tonight, tight end Blake Smith and head women's golf coach Par Nilsson. Also have fan Q&A coming up as well. But first, let's introduce the head coach of the Bobcats, G.J. Kinne. Coach, how are you?
I'm great.
Coach, it's always a pleasure to have you here on the show. We will start, though, with the game this past Saturday. A tough one. What was a wild game, a highly competitive game. Loss to Troy in overtime this past Saturday. What were your takeaways from the game this past weekend?
We started really fast. That was really good to see in front of a home crowd. I thought the guys answered that coming off the Arkansas State loss.
Yeah.
I always want to see that, and really in all three phases, offensively, defensively, and special teams, started really fast, and just gotta finish ball games. Really same thing in all three phases. Offense had an opportunity to really end the game. We had the recipe, 8-minute drive. Just got to score a touchdown there instead of a field goal. Obviously, defense, we got to get a stop of some kind, either a 2-point conversion, a defensive stop, a fourth down stop, and then special teams, we got to be able to, make a 42-yard field goal to end the game. So,
Right.
just got to finish, and I think the guys they were obviously disappointed after the game, but they're resilient. They bounce back, probably faster than us and fans and everybody else.
Yeah, Coach, your message last week is that we have to be better with complementary football. And I thought for the first quarter, the first half, you were
No doubt.
excelling at that with the way you're playing, certainly offensively, defensively. The first two series, you got 3-and-outs. I thought special teams was solid as well. In terms of the difference in the second half, what would you pinpoint that to?
Second half offensively was a little unique because you really go back. We had three series
Yeah.
on offense, including the last series of the game, which started on the half-inch line with 1 minute left.
Right.
So we score a touchdown, and then we have an 8-9 minute drive and kick a field goal. So points, and then really at the end of the game, we just ran out of time, so we had to kick a field goal. So we really only had 3 drives in the second half. So that was just a little unique, obviously, because they stole a possession with the onside kick. So that was obviously just a little unique. And then defensively, man, we got to find a stop of some kind, whether it's third down, fourth down. I think they were playing from behind all night, so they really had 4 downs on each drive, which
Yeah.
was a little unique. And then the 2-point conversions, we were one of 2 there when they were trying to go on 2 points. So just got to be better on defense, and special teams, same thing. We got to be able to make a kick when it matters.
Second straight game, you ran the football extremely well, and your offense as a whole, more than 500 yards of offense, over 7 yards of play this past week. I thought the protection of Brad Jackson was there. Troy did get to him a couple of times in the game, but it feels like in terms of your offensive line, you've been controlling the line of scrimmage over these past few weeks. How much has that been standing out?
We got to be efficient in the pass game, and we got to limit the turnovers. And we're really doing everything that we want to do on offense right now. So um, that that's really good to see. But obviously now we got to result that into a win, and it's coming. Just got to be patient and keep working.
Coach, I know it's easy, especially from a fan standpoint, to look at the missed field goal at the end of the game and kind of hang it on that. Look at the defensive stop that you couldn't get there late in the fourth and hang the loss on that. I know you said after the game it was a team loss, and when you go back and you look at various plays along the way. It wasn't just a missed field goal on special teams. There was a punt return TD taken off the board by a penalty. Now, I know you scored on that drive anyway,
Yep.
but that turned into a 13, 14 play drive versus a sudden, kind of kick to the teeth touchdown. You had the onside kick that you mentioned. You had the ball on the squib kick that bounced over Jalen Jenkins' head that put you at the half-yard line there before that final drive. It was not just one play by one facet of the team. It was spread out throughout the
for
60
sure.
minutes. Would you agree?
Yeah, for sure. And then, obviously it gets amplified because, we pulled off a minor miracle to get get the ball
Yeah.
in field goal range, and I think everyone was kind of feeling, at least I was, the oh, he's gonna redeem himself and kick the field goal, and we're all gonna, rush the field, one of those type deals. But that's just not football. That's just not life. So,
Right.
um, you know, we're not wavering on him either. He's a really good kicker, and he's gonna continue to make kicks when it matters. So we got to be better in all areas: offense, defense, and special teams.
I wanted to ask you about that. You started that last drive there, like I said, about the half-yard line. I think it was third down at about the 4,
Yeah,
right? Talk us through the process of play calling.
yeah, man, that
We
was
talked
tough.
about it before the play. Do you get risky and throw it, because
Yeah,
if you don't convert,
yeah,
throw an incomplete pass, you're almost guaranteeing them a shot at a field goal to
exactly.
to walk it off. Take us through the process of calling that pass play on third down.
Yeah, that's exactly what I think it's different where the field position was, but when being on the half-inch line, one, you don't want to have a safety. That was
Yeah.
kind of going through my mind too. You don't want to have a safety and give them the win there. But same thing, they had timeout, so you don't want to necessarily throw the ball right there. Incompletion stops the clock, and so we decided to run the ball. They let the clock run it again, and then on third down, just the way they were playing, we felt like we had an opportunity to hit a big one, and we did. And then we were able to kind of get into a real 2 minute situation, and I think it was 12 or 13 seconds. Had two plays, really dialed up that
Yeah.
we'd worked, all week, and it was cool to be able to execute those plays, just to give us ourselves an opportunity to go win the game.
I saw somebody's ranking on social media today. I don't know how they figured their computer ratings or quarterback ratings, sorry, for the week. Brad Jackson was their top rated quarterback in his performance. A redshirt freshman, once again, protects the ball, doesn't turn it over, leads your offense to 570 plus yards of total offense. You score on 6 of 9 possessions in the game. He just continues to improve, I think, and impress in his maturity for a guy who's got what, 6 starts now at the college level.
Yeah, I mean, I think if you look offensively in the same type analytically rankings, I think you're behind two Navy and Army, or
Hmm.
Navy and somebody else. G5 offenses, top. So basically, the top G5 offense in the country, and then you're looking at quarterback wise, and then what Brad's doing. He's just, you talk about Tom Brady and those fourth quarter moments. Think about Arkansas State the week before. What does he do? Quarterback draw to the house to
Right.
give you an opportunity to win. Get the ball, 1 minute left in the game, drives you right down the field, has an opportunity to kick the field goal and win. So, um, you know, Brad is just a very special player, and I've said it since since we recruited him, since he's been on campus. He's the leader of the team. Unbelievable player, can beat you with his arm, his legs, and it just turns out that he's maybe the best human being in San Marcos. So we're very fortunate to have him, and just it's going to be one of those things this off season. We're going to need everybody and Texas State alumni,
Right.
everybody to keep this guy here. Those talks have already started, and we got to keep him here, and he wants to be here, but you know how that goes.
Yeah. Lincoln Perry kind of night. 120 yards, 3 touchdowns. But Greg Burrell really, really shined the other night. 13 carries, 136 yards. The sophomore from Vegas had the big long touchdown run. What's he add to that backfield?
Yeah. Greg's playing at a high level right now. Since the beginning of the year, we in off season, all that, we know what kind of talent he is, but he's doing everything right. Not that he was doing anything
Sure.
wrong, but now he kind of hit his groove a little bit. When you have four running backs, you had Lincoln, you had Torrance Burgess, you had Jink, and you have Greg. And that's a
Hmm.
crowded backfield. You're trying to even it out, and you're trying to keep these guys healthy getting into conference play. Obviously, TB gets hurt. Now it's down to three, and you're able to Greg's able to get more touches and kind of really get into a rhythm. And that was the plan all along. We knew we had to get it down to one or two guys, one, two, three guys going into conference play, and it just happened that TB got hurt, and so Greg was able to get more touches.
So
Coach defensively, 11 tackles for loss the other night, 5 sacks. That's the second straight game with 5 sacks. 19 tackles for loss in that 2 game stretch. That's kind of more of the havoc style of defense that I think you've seen through the first couple of seasons here in San Marcos. Couple of individual notes on Palasi Longing, I thought.
Yeah.
Good night. Had a sack, Couple tackles for loss. He was
Yeah.
in the backfield quite a bit.
Yeah, I thought I thought the D line probably played their best game, and it's hard to you know be excited about anything
Oh,
that
sure.
happened on defense, but the D line definitely I thought played their best game, and so that's good to see. We're getting better in that area, and to me that was probably the biggest question mark going into the season was those guys, and for them to be playing at a high level is that's a good sign going down the stretch of conference play.
Coach, again, coming off a tough loss like you did this past Saturday, what's been the response from your team in the days since?
I think Arkansas State, um, at least, maybe myself and coaches and just more like what is going on, kind of deal. I think this one guys are just kind of pissed off and ready to go back to work. I think more than anything, and ready to go play another game. So I'm excited to get back on the practice field tomorrow and have a really good day of practice.
Well, again, the Bobcats are going back to work this Saturday to take on the Marshall Thundering Herd, a game we're going to preview coming up next on the Texas State Sports Network. This is the Eat 'em Up radio show from Learfield.
Fall is in season at Kohl's, and you know what that means. Pumpkins, plaid, and anything that smells like cinnamon. This week, take an extra 20% off decor, home furnishings, bedding, and more. So whether fall is your entire personality or you're just a casual pumpkin enthusiast, the deals at Kohl's are here for your seasonal style. Select styles, some exclusions apply. 20% offer ends October 19th. See store or Kohls.com for details.
At Christus Santa Rosa Hospital San Marcos, we are proud to provide comprehensive health care to our San Marcos and Central Texas families. From advanced cardiovascular, bariatrics, orthopedic, and surgical care to 24/7 emergency care. In partnership with a team of dedicated primary and specialty care physicians, we are privileged to care for our rapidly growing San Marcos and Central Texas communities. We're here when you need us, bringing more physicians, more services, and more technology closer to home. Christus Santa Rosa Hospital San Marcos. Your health, your life, our purpose.
Are you ready for some Bobcat football? Want to show up to your next tailgate in style? Text TXFARM to 83200 for your chance to win a Bobcats-themed tailgate package. One lucky winner will get a complete tailgate package that includes tents, chairs, coolers, koozies, and more. Register to win this amazing tailgate package by texting TXFARM to 83200. Brought to you by Texas Farm Bureau Insurance, proud partner of Texas State Athletics.
When you're on the move and looking for nonstop college sports action, get the Varsity Network app and take the game with you everywhere. Stream live play-by-play from schools across the country right from your phone, free. Catch hundreds of weekly podcasts, including shows from your favorite teams, all in one place. From football Saturdays to midweek hoops, it's your all-access pass to the college sports world. Whether it's game day or just your daily drive, the Varsity Network app has you covered. Download now and listen live for free on the Varsity Network app.
Back in San Marcos, the Eat 'em Up radio show with GJ Kinne, Brant Freeman, and me, Clint Shields. Glad to have you with us on this Margarita Monday nights. We start talking Marshall here in just a moment. Our scouting report presented by Sinclair Broadcasting and the Thundering Herd. First ever meeting between Texas State and the Herd. First ever trip to Huntington, West Virginia for the Cats. More on the Herd in a moment, Coach. Before we move on, I want to ask you a couple more questions the other night. And, I want to go back to special teams play. Opening kickoff. Jalen Jenkins, he's got to be 6 yards deep in the end zone and comes out. I was floored when he came out of the end zone. But he did it all night long consistently from 4 yards deep, 5 yards deep. Was that part of a plan going in? He was doing it with no hesitation at all. I had to think somebody told him, yeah, get it and go.
Yeah, we felt like we had a really good beat on what they were going to do on their kickoff team. Um, and Jenkins is electric, and
Oh, yeah.
we felt like we needed a spark, and he was 1 inch from keeping his feet and taking it to the house, and then obviously with the penalty. So really looking at it, he could have had 2 special teams touchdowns.
Yeah.
And when you have a special teams point, special teams touchdown, your percentages of going up are through the roof to win the game. So we were trying to do everything possible, obviously, to win the game. We felt like that was a key in the game and somewhere where we had an advantage on our kickoff return team.
Talik Lockett didn't play for you on the offensive line. Obviously, a talented guy that you rely on. Do you expect him to be back this week?
We'll see. Not sure on that one yet. Still early.
Defensively, I know Jaden Rios was listed as available the other night after having missed the Arkansas State game. Michael Bodwin was a game time decision. We didn't see either one of them. Obviously, those are guys you missed on the defensive side. What do you
Yep.
think their status is headed in this week?
Yeah, we'll see on both of them. Obviously, Rios was able to practice a little bit, just not enough to go out there and feel like feel comfortable. It's one of those deals where he probably could have played, but you don't want to put the kid in a bad situation and
Right.
him not going out there and feeling 100% with his body. Same thing with Bodwin. So expect both those guys to be back this week in some capacity.
Gotcha. Marshall now, Tony Gibson, first season at Marshall, one of the more unique coaching situations
Yeah.
I can recall. They win a conference championship, and that guy, doesn't get retained, leaves and takes a lot of players with him. You've got Gibson there, first year as a head coach, not only at Marshall but overall. They're 3-3. They're 1-1. Have your paths crossed with him before? And what are your overall impressions of this Marshall team?
Yeah, they have. We shared an agency there for a little bit, and so we got to know each other a little bit at a couple of the conventions, and he's worked for some people that
Mm-hmm.
I've worked for and played for, and so I got a ton of respect for him, and obviously a defensive guy,
Yeah.
and just he does a great job and put together a really good team in kind of a weird situation, like you mentioned.
Right.
So I think they do an unbelievable job. Their O line coach was my tight end coach in college, so there's a lot of paths that have crossed with that staff.
Yeah, something I noticed looking at the offense is that they control the clock a lot. They're among the leaders in the Sun Belt in terms of time of possession. They don't turn the ball over either. When you look at the offensive side of the football from Marshall, what stands out?
Really everything. You know, you really look like, it looks like you're watching us on offense. To be honest with you,
Mm-hmm.
besides the wide splits and some of the deep choice stuff, it's like you're watching us.
Hmm.
So they're really talented. They're really good. Got great schemes and quarterbacks. I think they kind of had a couple of different guys playing early and kind of settled on him. And I think he's been kind of the difference in their season so far. He's playing at a super high level, and they do a little bit of everything with him. He can throw it, he can run it, and he's not turning the ball over like you said. So they have the recipe for success as well, and they're executing it.
Yeah, it's kind of interesting. You look at Sun Belt quarterbacks, and a lot of teams are playing guys that were not starting at the beginning of the year. In the case, certainly here with Carlos Del Rio Wilson, the quarterback from Marshall you referenced, and he's been playing extremely well over the past couple of weeks specifically. In fact, he leads the nation right now in pass efficiency rating. How does he compare to some of the other quarterbacks you've seen this year?
He's a little bit different. He can really spin it. I think he's a good player. Hate to compare people like that to someone else in the conference if there's not a great fit. But he can run it. He can throw it. He's playing at a high level. They're putting him in good situations. They have a couple of really good receivers. That number four might be the best player in the whole conference, regardless of position.
So Marshall came off an overtime loss, double overtime loss a couple of weeks ago against Louisiana, and then bounced back in a big way last week, playing a very good Old Dominion
Yeah.
team led by Colton Joseph, and then limited his success in their win this past week. So, looking at the way they played this past week specifically, what kind of football team are you expecting to see this Saturday?
Head coach called the plays on defense for the first time all year. He openly talked about it after the game and then today in the press conference, and just felt like that gave them the best opportunity to move them forward. And they play hard. They'll blitz you. They can sit back in coverage. They run a unique style of defense. So that's another obstacle that you have to face going into the week. But then offense, like you said, they're running the ball at a really high level. Obviously, the pass efficiency numbers are there, so um, they're just doing a really good job coaching right now, and the guys are going out there and executing.
Coach, you mentioned their ability to get turnovers. Three of them last week. One of them went for a pick six. They had three fourth down stops, two of them inside their own 5 yard line. That's hard nosed defense. They've got the Sun Belt Conference Defensive Player of the Week. You get to see that guy again for the second straight week. Different team, different guy, and he goes
Yep.
by the name of Boogie Trotter. Anytime you run up against a Boogie, seems like it's going to be a pretty good player. what do you see out of that guy individually? And I think defensively, what do they do that's I think maybe creates some problems for you if you see problems at all.
Yeah, I think just their whole scheme in general causes problems for people, and you know, like you said, the kid's playing at a high level, and you can tell he's a smart, savvy player. They move him around at different positions based off the personnel, and they're just flying around playing with a lot of confidence right now, and he's doing a great job.
I think when you go back and you kind of look at it, they had a couple of muffed punts by Old
Hmm.
Dominion that they recovered. They made special teams play. They got a couple of the stops that you talked about that you need offensively. They played almost a flawless ball game. Maybe they got that one out of their system, and they're due for 3 or 4 turnovers themselves and whatnot that you can take advantage of. But I think as you kind of start your week of putting together a game plan, what's at the top of your list where you've got to areas where you got to execute to have success against Marshall.
Yeah, I think you said. I think Old Dominion had 5 turnovers, like you said, a couple on offense,
Yeah,
couple on special teams. So we gotta hold on to the ball on
yeah.
offense, which we've been really good at throughout the year, and so that trend has to continue. Obviously, it's all about the line play, offensive line, defensive line. Quarterback center exchange, and so you're really talking about one real one,
Right,
you know.
that's right.
And so I think we've done an excellent job there, and that trend has to continue. And so I'm excited about the things we're doing right now on offense, and so I told the team we can get this much better in the other areas, we're going to win a whole bunch of
Right.
ball games.
That's the Marshall Thundering Herd preview talk. 2:30 the kickoff time this Saturday. 1:45 the pregame will start on the Texas State Sports Network coming up on Saturday. We'll step aside. Fan Q&A. Still a chance to get your questions in. Come see us up here. We'll do that next on the Eat 'em Up Radio Show on the Texas State Sports Network from Learfield.
Hi, this is Fox San Antonio's Chuck Picatinny, and I'm News 4's Don Harris. One of the best things about our jobs is calling the games on Taco Cabana's Thursday Night Lights every Thursday on CW35. Goes right and then takes it right back up the middle, and look at him finish the run. Firing, got it, hard! If you're interested in video production, journalism, or covering sports for a living, our stations have job opportunities you might want to check out. To see the possibilities, go to foxsanantonio.com/careers.
At Christus Santa Rosa Hospital San Marcos, we are proud to provide comprehensive health care to our San Marcos and Central Texas families. From advanced cardiovascular, bariatrics, orthopedic, and surgical care to 24/7 emergency care. In partnership with a team of dedicated primary and specialty care physicians, we are privileged to care for our rapidly growing San Marcos and Central Texas communities. We're here when you need us, bringing more physicians, more services, and more technology closer to home. Christus Santa Rosa Hospital San Marcos. Your health, your life, our purpose.
When my paycheck comes, I always plan lunch with my friends. So getting to do that 2 days early really hits the spot.
At UFCU, we help you make the most of your money. With over 55,000 fee-free ATMs and payment up to 2 days early, finances fit your life, not the other way around.
Oh, and splitting the check is simple. Just an easy transfer right from the app.
Become a member and open an account today. UFCU, it all starts with you. Must meet eligibility requirements. Visit ufcu.org for more information. Federally insured by NCUA.
Texas Disposal Systems is proud to be part of the San Marcos community since 2003. As the official waste and recycling sponsor for Texas State Athletics, we are committed to keeping the stadium clean and environmentally friendly. Bobcat fans, let's make a difference together. Do your part by recycling properly at all games. For more tips and info, Visit TexasDisposal.com. Texas Disposal Systems. Noticeably different, noticeably better.
A reminder that the 2025 Texas State football season is presented by HEB. Here, everything is better. Welcome back to the Eat 'em Up Radio Show from Jimmy's. Frank Freeman alongside Clint Shields. Now time for tonight's fan Q&A with head coach G.J. Kinne. Coach, our first question comes from Danny out of Round Rock. Which player of yours has been the biggest pleasant surprise this season?
That's a good question. We've had a couple. I think Brock Reicher's playing pretty well at center right now.
Yeah.
All right, so Brock Reicher, center for Texas State, pleasant surprises.
Brock from Brock.
Brock from Brock.
Surprise this year. Next question from John Everett out of San Marvelous.
Got to get our NIL ready for him too.
What part of Marshall's game is the biggest threat this weekend?
I think just their style of offense creates a lot of problems, so we're gonna have to really bring it on defense.
And again, as Coach described earlier, Marshall offensively very similar to Texas State. We know how good the Bobcats are offensively. That's a great point. Next question from Ashley at Wimberley. Parnilston is on the show tonight. Do you think you could match up with your team on the course, and would you be a better golfer or him as a better football player?
I definitely am no good at golf, so yeah, I don't really have a lot of hobbies, so I'll let him handle that.
All right, well, Par, get your shoulder pads ready, then you'll be a better football player.
Yeah.
So,
All right, Coach Molly from San Marcos. Have you ever been to West Virginia before? If so, what was it like?
I haven't. Never been.
Well, we're going to find out.
So,
this
what are
Saturday.
you expecting?
I don't know, to be honest.
There's a football game that we'll be
Yeah,
playing.
that's about all I know.
That's
Randy,
what we're
Randy Moss
expecting.
throwing the ball out of the stadium. Chad Pennington.
There you
That's
go,
That's
yeah.
about all I know.
Yeah, right. By Leftwich.
Byron
What that
Leftwich,
game
yep.
at
Byron
home,
Leftwich.
he was injured and
Yep.
they carried him down
Yep.
the field. Yeah.
Yeah, precisely.
All right, Brent Fields from Blanco. How many recruits did you have for the Troy game, and do you get to spend time with them on a night like that?
Yeah, we had quite a few official visitors and quite a few commits in town, which was great.
Yeah.
Get to spend time with those guys, and we have other people on staff that get to visit with just the normal high school recruits that come on campus.
As you go back, Joe Castillo from St. Marcos, go back and you look at film week to week, visit with your coaches, defensive stops that you mentioned. Is it about tweaks or changes to scheme, or is it basically just come down to execution?
I think a little bit of everything. It's usually never just one thing. It's usually a culmination of things. So we're continuing to work on those and getting better. Obviously, we're starting fast in a lot of areas, so we have to make sure we're making good adjustments as well.
Coach, our guest coming up next is Blake Smith, tight end for you. That is coming off an injury-plagued season, starting tight end for you this year, but then got hurt in the Arizona State game. But tell me a little bit more about Blake Smith and what he's meant to your program his 2 seasons playing for you.
Yeah, Blake is just he's just an unbelievable person. Obviously, we've recruited him a couple different times. Finally, able to get him to Texas State, and he's about my age. So out of all the players on the team, sometimes I'm talking to him. I'm like, well, I forget you're a player. You're not a coach or something. Just a great personality. Him and one of my former quarterbacks, Dylan Gabriel, now with the Browns, they were really close, and so we kind of had that connection, and just a great player too. I mean, just great skills, and obviously was starting and making a huge impact before getting hurt again. But that's the one thing about Blake. I think we really connected too when he got hurt last off season, and just shared some words of encouragement with him and different things to try to keep him uplifted and he could easily he's had a couple injuries now, could easily walk away from football, but I think Texas State means something to him. I think the players on the team, his group of buddies, really means something to him. That the house, the Ladybug Road house over there is quite the crew. I mean, you got Bo and Link and Blake and Rooster now. You had Connor Fox in there last year. So that house over there, man, it's a bunch of really special dudes over there, and that are great leaders for us. And same thing. I think Texas State just means something to them. So anytime you got a guy like that that happens to be an exceptional football player in person, you tend to gravitate towards those guys, and that he's one for me that I lean on in different areas too.
Well, we're looking forward to the conversation with them coming up next. Coach, thank you so much, and best of luck this Saturday against Marshall.
Thank you.
All right, then again, Bobcat head coach G.J. Kinne joining us here at Chimmy's. We're going to step aside. When we come back, we're going to visit with Bobcat tight end Blake Smith on the Texas State Sports Network. This is the Eat 'em Up Radio Show from Learfield.
Hi there, this is Steve Eisen, founder of Rebecca Creek Distillery. We built the first distillery in the South in 100 years since Prohibition right here in San Antonio. We are located at 281 and Bulverde Road. We are open Wednesday through Sundays with live music, barbecue, dog park, and tours every hour. Come check out our new sports bar and watch the game. At Rebecca Creek Distillery, come taste Rebecca Creek Whiskey, Texas Ranger Whiskey in flavors, and Enchanted Rock Vodka in flavors. Please sip responsibly.
Fall is in season at Kohl's, and you know what that means. Pumpkins, plaid, and anything that smells like cinnamon. This week, take an extra 20% off decor, home furnishings, bedding, and more. So whether fall is your entire personality or you're just a casual pumpkin enthusiast, the deals at Kohl's are here for your seasonal style. Select styles, some exclusions apply. 20% offer ends October 19th. See store or Kohl's.com for details.
Which schools will take home the prestigious Learfield Directors Cup for the top college athletic programs for the 2025-26 college athletic season? Check out the criteria and follow the year-long standings of your favorite team at L Directors Cup on the X platform or online at thedirectorscup.com. Trophies will be awarded in June 2026 to the winning institutions in all college sports divisions. The Learfield Directors Cup, powered by NACDA, the crowning achievement in college athletics. When my paycheck comes, I always plan lunch with my friends. So getting to do that 2 days early really hits the spot.
At UFCU, we help you make the most of your money. With over 55,000 fee-free ATMs and payment up to 2 days early, finances fit your life, not the other way around.
Oh, and splitting the check is simple. Just an easy transfer right from the app.
Become a member and open an account today. UFCU, it all starts with you. Must meet eligibility requirements. Visit ufcu.org for more information. Federally insured by NCUA.
Clint Shields, Brad Freeman back within the Eat 'em Up Radio Show in San Marcos. About a half hour with G.J. Kinne. Good stuff with the head coach and fan Q&A as always. Our player spotlight, where we're headed now, presented by Texas Farm Bureau Insurance, protecting.
I played quarterback up until my junior year of high school.
Yeah.
I had an injury in my. So I played quarterback up until my junior year of high school.
Yeah.
I had an injury in my sophomore year, so it kind of set me back, behind the eight ball. But I just wanted the chance to play, and I went to my head coach, Coach Dodge, and just wanted the chance to get on the field, and ultimately found a spot for me to play tight end, and that's kind of where my, career went in tight end. So I had a successful, time there at Southlake, and out of high school, I went to Texas A&M for 3 years, learned a lot. Spent a lot of my time there, and then obviously went to Oklahoma, graduated. Learned a lot there. So it's just kind of cool being in those two different, universities and learning a lot from under different head coaches and players and stuff like that. And then just ultimately it led me here, and just I found, my love for the game again. You know what I mean? And just being around the type of people that are here, the players, the coaches, it's just really uplifted, my style of play. So
You mentioned that injury as a sophomore in high school when you were a quarterback set you back a little bit. Who'd you wind up maybe having to give the job to then? Anybody we know?
Yeah, I think a lot of people here would know the name Quinn Ewers. You know what I'm saying? So, no, it's been good. I mean, me and Quinn are really good friends. You know what I mean? So it's been cool. To have share that moment with him in high school.
Right. Battled through injuries last year. He got banged up a little bit in the Arizona State game this year, but I think the tight end position and kind of watching the offense evolve through years 1, 2, into 3 now. Prior to your injury, you and Titus Lyons on the field a lot in the last couple of weeks while you were, working back from the injury. A lot of Titus Lyons, Ty Stamey, Jake Simpson. Seeing a lot of two tight end sets, getting a little bit more involved in the pass game. What's that been like to kind of watch that, as I said, evolve over the couple of seasons you've been here now?
It's been awesome. I mean, I know last year we wanted to definitely, apply the more tight end usage, but we just didn't get to that with Coach Leftwich. But this year, I feel like we're just trying to change the dynamic of the offense, and just the type of players that we have in that room is, pretty special. And especially being coached by Coach Brian, he does a really good job with us by making sure we're prepared and we're ready to go. And so I feel like the intention that we have with, how we go about the offense and how we go about it every day is pretty special. And I feel like you can't keep us off the field like the style of the play that we have in that room.
The Arkansas State game, I know, tight end room's usually pretty tight with those guys. What was your reaction to the Titus Lions touchdown in that fourth quarter
Yeah,
at
no,
Arkansas
it was a
State?
special moment. I mean, Titus has worked his butt off
Yeah.
ever since he's been here, and so just to see that moment and see how excited he was, it was a cool moment for me to see while I was watching at home. So I'm happy for him.
Blake, you were talking about your time at South Lake Carroll. As Clint alluded to it, it's one of the great high school football programs traditionally in the state. High school football itself in DFW has been is excellent.
Right.
What do you recall about your experiences in terms of just how good the football was in that area?
I mean, you have special talent. I mean, especially my class, class of 2020. I mean, we had a lot of D1 commits coming out of the DFW area, and so just it's just special, I'm saying, going into the playoffs and just competing against those type of guys, and honestly seeing them in college, playing against them. So it's kind of cool, like a surreal moment type thing. So it's cool.
It's an arms race in college football in terms of recruiting and NIL,
Right.
the transfer portal. You want to make sure that you're in the best position possible to bring in prospective student athletes who can play at a high level. And facilities go a long way too. And this past week was the ribbon cutting ceremony of the Johnny Natalie Weissman Performance Center at the South End Zone Complex. And somebody who gets to spend so much time there, how beautiful is that facility now?
I mean, it's unbelievable. I mean, it's really special, and we thank the Wisemans for the entirety of it. But seeing it from last year up into this year, it's just a dramatic difference, and it's really special. And so we owe the Wisemans and all people that contributed to that area and just all the improvements. So it's really special to see.
I'm sure it's been frustrating for you to have gotten hurt this season after missing all of last year because of injury, but I think a little bit about Lincoln Perry, who's been on the show, 5 times now
something
throughout
like
his
that.
career.
I think it was twice in one season, wasn't it?
Yeah, and one of the things we talked with Lincoln about was his 2023 season in which he was out, did not play, but was one of the biggest advocates for the program, still a tremendous spokesperson for the program, ambassador for it. So, for you and having been through something similar, how do you spend your time advocating for the program when you're not on the field?
No, it's special because I live with Lincoln, so like we've always had those discussions before and those conversations, and so just seeing how he goes about his business, what I'm saying, in the community with the people around him, it's pretty, I'm saying, special to be around. So I kind of take bits and pieces of that, I'm saying, and see how he does it, goes about his daily life and all that stuff, and so it's pretty special to see.
So again, Coach described it to us a little bit. The Ladybug House.
Yes, sir.
Tell us a little bit more about that.
Ladybug is that's the street we live on. So,
okay.
Yeah. I'm not gonna give you the number, but that's the
street.
Fine.
That's fine. We're not gonna dox you here on the show, Blake. But
yeah.
so, how do you guys spend your time together?
Especially, I mean, we spend most of our time at the facility, obviously, but then when we come to home, like we usually cook. I usually cook. Me or Lincoln or Bo cook, and then we kind of just sit at the dinner table, talk, or in our living room, we'll put up a game or a highlight film and kind of just talk about everything and just what goes on, around college football, basically like that.
What's normally on the menu?
On the menu?
Yeah.
Either ground beef, broccoli and rice, chicken, broccoli and rice, salmon, some sort of quesadilla, kind of. So we kind of like to mix it up. And spaghetti here and there. And
okay.
Stuff. Yeah.
It sounds like you mentioned the rice and the broccoli, and the protein. But is there any cheat meal you guys like to have?
In particular, we like Gus's chicken.
Gus's chicken.
Gus's chicken.
Okay. All right. Good stuff.
Yeah.
Blake, you mentioned that you graduated.
Correct.
At Oklahoma, degree in hand. What was that in? What are you continuing to study here?
I'm getting my master's in business.
Okay.
Yes, sir. So I graduate in December this fall.
Yeah.
So on December 12th. So I'm excited. So I'm wrapping up all the essays and all that stuff right now, and then just getting prepared for that.
Well, congratulations for that. And,
thank you.
And as far as your injury and kind of working back from it, I think you're pretty close. How's the rehab been over the last?
It's been amazing. I mean, if you would have asked me this about 3-4 weeks ago, I would have told you I was out for the season. You know what I mean? Just the way I was feeling. But no, I've been making tremendous progress, a lot of improvement. I mean, I've been running the past week and a half, and so just getting my legs back underneath me, getting my breath back underneath inside me, and so I'm doing well. So I'm excited to see what the future holds.
All right. Well, we'll certainly miss you on the trip to Marshall, but look forward to seeing you when you're back in uniform and back out on the field.
Sounds good. Appreciate
Blake Smith, everybody, our player spotlight on the Eat 'em Up Radio Show tonight. Golf coach Paul Nilsson will join us next when we come back to San Marcos. This is the Eat 'em Up Radio Show from Learfield.
Texas Disposal Systems is proud to be part of the San Marcos community since 2003. As the official waste and recycling sponsor for Texas State Athletics, we are committed to keeping the stadium clean and environmentally friendly. Bobcat fans, let's make a difference together. Do your part by recycling properly at all games. For more tips and info, visit texasdisposal.com. Texas Disposal Systems. Noticeably different, noticeably better.
The passion.
He's going to take it to the house. Dinner's cooking. Touchdown.
The fury.
There was flames on that ball.
The speed.
35, 40. There he goes. Down the sideline.
It's the college football.
For the end zone. Got it for 6 points. You cannot hitch the wagon. Put the ponies in the bars. Back to the end zone. 20.
This is the college football bliss. Listen all season long on College Sports Now on the Varsity Network.
Hi, this is Fox San Antonio's Chuck Picatinny, and I'm News 4's Don Harris. One of the best things about our jobs is calling the games on Taco Cabana's Thursday Night Lights, every Thursday on CW35. Goes right and then takes it right back up the middle and look at him finish the run. Firing, got it hard! If you're interested in video production, journalism, or covering sports for a living, our stations have job opportunities you might want to check out. To see the possibilities, go to foxsanantonio.com/careers.
It's time for the annual Team Impact All-In 5K. Join Team Impact on October 19th and help support their mission to create a world where every child facing serious illness and disability feels supported by something bigger, and every collegiate team is transformed by a greater purpose. Remember, there's no wrong way to 5K. Run, walk, or roll a 5K in your neighborhood, at your local college campus, or join one of Team Impact's hub locations. Join the movement to get all kids in the game. Team Impact, all in, all together. Learn more at teamimpact.org/allin5K.
And welcome back to Jimmy's as the Eat 'em Up radio show rolls on. Again, the Bobcats take on Marshall this Saturday, 2:30 kickoff from Huntington, West Virginia. Now joining us, somebody who has a perfect name for the sport they coach. Par Nilsson, the head women's golf coach at Texas State, joins us now in his 7th year at Texas State and the 2024 Sun Belt Conference Coach of the Year, that year overseeing a program that won a Sun Belt championship. Par, welcome to the show. How are you?
Thank you. Good. How are you? Thanks for having me.
Thank you, Coach. Just making sure we got the technical issues there fixed out, but appreciate you joining us here, Coach. And it's timely to have you on the show with us as well because coming up this weekend is one of the biggest annual tournaments for Texas State. That is the Jim West Challenge over at Kissing Tree Golf Club here in San Marcos. So, how much are you looking forward to that tournament coming up?
It's always the highlight of our season to play such a big tournament at home. We're very, very excited every year.
You already have, this will be your 4th tournament of the fall. You've already played in 3. How do you feel as if your team has competed so far this fall season?
Very well, yeah. We just came off a really strong tournament in Denver, and we had a couple of good tournaments before that too. So we're looking good.
You know, Yvonne Chambers for you has been a Sun Belt Golfer of the Week 2 times this season already through your first 3 tournaments of the year, and she's now in her 4th year within your program. How much has she stood out?
She's been a leader this year. She played really, really well last year, and she's she's a great student athlete, great player, and she's really leading this group this year.
You know, for the Jim West Challenge coming up, you have to piece together your 4 golfers for a group, and then you have the option to have individuals compete as well. How is that coming together?
Yeah, so we just finished qualifying. The great thing with hosting is that everyone is playing. So we have 8 on the roster. All 8 are playing. So we just finished our qualifying the other day.
Coach, in talking about your roster, I look down at you've got 3 Texans, Austin, Cedar Park, Georgetown, but you know, we've had this conversation, it seems, the last 3 or 4 weeks in talking soccer and talking track and field, and golf's no different. Switzerland, Sweden, Mexico, Finland, the Philippines. It's truly an international game. So when it comes to finding talent, getting them to come to San Marcos and see what you have to offer, not just as a school, but as a community and an opportunity to play golf, how do you find potential recruits, folks who might be interested in coming to San Marcos, and how often do they find you instead of you finding them?
Yeah, it's definitely both, but we're a very international team. I'm Swedish. My assistant coach Maria, she's from Mexico, and women's golf is a very international game. If you look at a lot of the rosters around the country, it's very international. but I think we've had a really good mix between a lot of players from Texas and also international players.
A lot of the international players and people who maybe even don't play golf, and maybe even those who do, they think golf is golf. It's the ball, the course, you hit it, and let's go. International players, when they come to the United States and play on golf courses here, what are some differences versus maybe the courses that they grew up playing on, the way the game is played here?
Yeah, it depends where they're from. We have a few from Northern Europe. They've never seen Bermuda grass, for example,
Ah,
and that's all we have here in Texas. So, and some of the Texans, they've never seen cold weather grass. So we just went to Denver and played on a different kind of grass. So it depends where they're from. Some handled the heat like Grace Quintanilla. She's our new freshman from the Philippines. She's a very, very good player. She's from a warm climate,
sure.
so the Texas heat is nothing for her. But then we have Ella from Finland. She's never experienced temperatures in the hundreds. So, so we get a little bit of everything there too.
Coach, you've got Brant mentioned it, the Jim West Challenge coming up. Obviously, you've got the Jim and Carol West Golf Facility, which is not at Kissing Tree. It's up at Plum Creek, is it
Yes.
not? That facility, I've seen it. Hitting balls on the range next to it. What a great facility! What a great recruiting tool. How do you use it to that end, also to further the game, and how does it stack up with other facilities around the Sun Belt?
It's a great facility, and we're always very thankful of Jim's and Carol's and Austin's support, both building the facility and also hosting a tournament every year. Uh, we couldn't compete at this level without them and without the facility.
Coach, as you look ahead to life even in the Pac-12 coming up, what's the Pac-12 golf scene as far as the schools that are in it that you expect to see? Who's kind of, I think, maybe the kingpin of golf in the future Pac-12?
I think we're looking really good. If we look at kind of current rankings, it's probably between us and Oregon State to be
Uh-huh.
the best team. So, but it can kind of change year to year too. But uh, we're um, we're one of the best teams in the Sun Belt this year, and I think we're going to be one of the best teams in the Pac-12 next year.
Coach, how, if at all, does the move to the Pac-12 impact recruiting for you moving forward?
It's been good. We already play like in golf. We don't play a conference schedule the same way some of the other sports do. So we play more of a national schedule. So it's a huge move for us too. But we already kind of play on the West Coast, so uh, I think it's not impacting us as much as some of the other sports. But it's obviously a great um, it's a great opportunity.
So again, the Jim West Challenge will mark the end of the fall season for you. The spring will start shortly after the turn of the calendar. But what happens in between after you finish the fall season before you start the spring?
Yeah, so we take a little bit of time off, and then we start off-season practice. Obviously, with Texas winter weather, we have an opportunity to play outside all year. So um, for the players that stay here, they practice. We have a few players playing amateur winter golf tournaments. So Grace in the Philippines and Miran in Mexico, they'll be competing over the break.
So again, the West family has been so good at Texas State over the years. They're the ones that have put together this tournament for a long time going now. How supportive have they been of you and your program?
Very, very supportive. I mean, they, like I said earlier, we couldn't do this without them and the rest of our supporters and donors. But um, this tournament is the best college tournament all year in the country, and uh, they started it. They were, like I said, very thankful that they keep supporting the tournament.
Well, we're going to have live coverage of it this Sunday and Monday on ESPN Plus. So be on the lookout for that. Coach, thank you so much for joining us, and best of luck this weekend at the Jim West Challenge.
Thank you.
All right, then again, Par Nilsson, head women's golf coach at Texas State, joining us. When we come back, we'll put a wrap up on the show and look ahead to the game coming up Saturday against Marshall on the Texas State Sports Network. This is the Eat 'em Up radio show from Learfield.
Are you ready for some Bobcat football? Want to show up to your next tailgate in style? Text TXFARM to 83200 for your chance to win a Bobcats-themed tailgate package. One lucky winner will get a complete tailgate package that includes tents, chairs, coolers, koozies, and more. Register to win this amazing tailgate package by texting TXFARM to 83200. Brought to you by Texas Farm Bureau Insurance, proud partner of Texas State Athletics.
Hi there, this is Steve Eisen, founder of Enchanted Rock Vodka. Enchanted Rock Vodka is a premium vodka made in the Texas Hill Country using limestone filtered water. Enchanted Rock Vodka is 10 times distilled, gluten-free, frost filtered, and has a crisp, clean finish. Also try our new flavors, blueberry, watermelon, and pink lemonade made with real fruit. Enchanted Rock Vodka, follow your spirit.
Aw, shucks. The game's on TV, but I can't listen to the call of my favorite team broadcasters.
Never fear, Sync My Game is here.
Sync my game?
Yes, Sync My Game. If you have a DVR and streaming device, head to syncmygame.com from Learfield. It's never been easier to hear the impassioned voices of your favorite radio crew synced with the TV.
Wow, thank you, Mr.
Just remember, syncmygame.com.
At Christus Santa Rosa Hospital San Marcos, we are proud to provide comprehensive health care to our San Marcos and Central Texas families. From advanced cardiovascular, bariatrics, orthopedic, and surgical care to 24/7 emergency care. In partnership with a team of dedicated primary and specialty care physicians, we are privileged to care for our rapidly growing San Marcos and Central Texas communities. We're here when you need us, bringing more physicians, more services, and more technology closer to home. Christus Santa Rosa Hospital San Marcos, your health, your life, our purpose.
Tonight's broadcast of the Eat 'em Up radio show can be heard worldwide on the Varsity Network. When you're out of town and want to keep up with live college sports, then download the Varsity Network app, which is available for both Apple and Android. Listen to your favorite team live on the Varsity Network app and download it today. Welcome back to the Eat 'em Up radio show. Brant Freeman, along with Clint Shields, ready to wrap things up as the Bobcats get ready to take on the Marshall Thundering Herd. First ever meeting between these two programs. 2:30 kickoff in Huntington, West Virginia. It is a Sunbelt West versus Sunbelt East matchup. The first of two in a row for the Bobcats. After the game this Saturday, they will not play the following week, but will play the Tuesday after on October the 28th. So, Clint, big game for Texas State, certainly this Saturday. Yeah, a team that has postseason aspirations, perhaps a Sun Belt championship game and a bowl game, certainly. So, avoiding an 0-3 start to Sun Belt play seems paramount. It has to be a sense of urgency this Saturday for Texas State.
Yeah, absolutely. And I wish, I could look at one game and call it tougher than the other, but I just think it's week in and week out. What you expect in the Sun Belt is a 60-minute football game. And, scanning through some numbers, obviously we're very early in the week as far as, coaches and players putting together a game plan, but even broadcasters kind of getting familiar with an opponent and what we might expect to see. These are the two highest scoring offenses in the Sun Belt Conference, both in conference play only, but also in all of their games across the board. Defensively, both teams have allowed a lot of points. So, Marshall had a really good day defensively Saturday against Old Dominion. The 3 turnovers, the 4th down stops, the special teams plays that they made. I think something that maybe gets kind of lost in those numbers, they still allowed about 430 total yards to Old Dominion. They will give up some yards. They will give up some points, and obviously that bodes well for Texas State, the number one offense in the Sun Belt, more than 500 yards in each of the last 2 games, averaging 545, I think it is, in conference games alone. Texas State, the Cats have proven they can move the ball against anybody thus far this season. Now, saying that, paper, that's one thing. Doing it on the field is another. But I haven't seen anything yet that says they won't be able to move the football. So expect points to be scored on Saturday.
Think about this too. Marshall's a championship caliber program. This is the reigning Sun Belt champion.
Yeah.
A lot of people forget about that for a couple of reasons. One, Marshall did not play in a bowl game this past year. Very bizarre for your conference champion not to play in the postseason. And second, Charlie Huff, the head coach for Marshall, left to Southern Miss and took a lot of his players with him. So many don't associate this Marshall team with the one that just won a championship, but there is some players that are returning from a year ago, and it's a team playing with a lot of confidence right now, a new quarterback that has really exploded onto the scene since taking over as starter, which that narrative sounds very familiar with what we just saw this past Saturday with Tucker Kilcrease. And so a lot of those things have to be kept in mind going into the game this weekend.
Yeah, Carlos Del Rio Wilson, you heard GJ Kinney talk about him. He's capable of doing both things. I wish that was new too, being throw it, hurt you with his feet, hurt you with his legs. We seem to see that week in and week out. He's a guy who can do it. You know, and I've seen some audio clips of him recently. He's confident in his abilities. He knows he's playing well. He knows he's leading his team. And boy, I think Saturday was such an emotional lift for them in a bit of a rivalry game with Old Dominion to go out and win the way that they did, doubling them up in points, 48 to 24 like that. So they made the emotional defensive plays that they had to. They got enough offense early, plus a defensive touchdown in that ball game to kind of jump up big. The difference, I think, in those two games, our game on Saturday night at home with Troy, their game with ODU, is they managed to find those defensive stops that G.J. Kinney was talking about.
That was frustrating as far as Texas State was concerned this past Saturday because offensively they're playing so well.
Oh, yeah.
And early in the game defensively, they forced back-to-back 3-and-outs with Troy's offense, and I thought the defensive game plan was excellent. Troy made adjustments. Tucker Kilcrease found his rhythm, and it was a different story thereafter. But so getting stops on defense will be very important. Goes without saying. This coming Saturday, and one of the stats you brought up is one that continues to be glaring: the lack of turnovers for
Right.
this defense. 1 through 6 games, very hard to win consistently that way. The fact they've been in the ball games with a chance to win dirt late without getting turnovers says something about how well the offense is playing. But it goes back to what G.J. Kinney has been preaching: complementary football has to play out.
Yeah, if you listen to Jeff and I on Saturdays, well, I've said this for about 3 or 4 straight weeks now. Eventually, turnovers like hits in baseball will come in bunches.
Mm-hmm.
You know, there's a 3 or 4 turnover night out there waiting to happen. Get those extra possessions, especially when you have an offense with the capability that Texas State does. You get the Bobcats 2 extra possessions in a game, and that lead may just be insurmountable by the time you actually get the football back. So there's a 3 or 4 turnover day coming. And you know, jokingly, I said earlier that Marshall game with ODU last week. I mean, they played almost perfect across the board as far as collecting turnovers, making big defensive stops, special teams plays that netted them the ball and points on defense on a pick six, right? Maybe they flushed all that out of their system for a couple weeks, and this is the week, you know, where they drop a couple balls or turn it over 3 or 4 times. Well, the Cats certainly are in prime position to need something like that, something good for them to happen on the road.
Well, we're looking forward to the game certainly this Saturday between the Bobcats and the Thundering Herd. That's going to wrap up our show this week. Kickoff begins at 2:30 in Huntington, West Virginia. Pregame coverage across the Texas State Sports Network starts at 1:45. Thanks again to head coach G.J. Kinney, Bobcat tight end Blake Smith, and head women's golf coach Par Nilsson. For Clint Shields, I'm Brain Freeman saying good night and go Cats.